Hi everyone, I'm Lexi. I'm an MH student in ECE.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm a doctoral in musical arts candidate in piano performance.
And I'm Hongyi. I'm also an EC MN student.
When classical musicians practice off a music score, it is very tedious and disruptive for them to manually turn the page or pause to adjust the metronome each time the music indicates a speed change. Flexinome is an iPad app made to help musicians practice by having a programmable metronome that can adapt to the changing tempos and time signatures of the music, as well as automatically turn pages for the musician so their practicing is not interrupted. So in our scenario, Aaron is a piano tutor and Hongi is Aaron's student who ran into problems when practicing for a new song.
Okay, Hongyi. Today we'll be looking at a new piece.
What is this? I can't see anything.
How's this? Next slide.
Okay, that's better.
Let's start. Play.
But what are all these numbers? In the first bar, why are there 6 notes when it says 5?
That number is the time signature, which helps show us how this music is structured. Next slide, please. When we write out music, we want to indicate which notes go faster and which notes go slower. We can represent this by measuring in beats. This graph represents the beat values. A quarter note is 1 beat. If we go faster, we can fit 2 eighth notes into it. And faster than that, we can fit 2 16th notes into a 1 8th note. A time signature simply specifies on the top how many beats go in a bar, and on the bottom, the measurement value. A piece is made of many bars. Next slide, please. So here you see that this piece is in 5/4. 5 beats of quarter note values. The lines show where each beat lies. Understand? Now play.
Wait, the metronome only lets me put in 1 time signature for the whole song. How can I practice the second bar? And after I play the second bar, how can I flip the page without my hands leaving the keys?
Well, there's an app for that. So when we open up Flexinome, you will see in the metronome, we can, this is just a basic metronome. But what we can do here is we can actually create a new song and specify the time signatures. So I'm going to call this demo. In the first bar, as we saw in the piece, it was 5/4. Let's put that at 120 beats per minute. And we'll have 1 repetition of that. On the second bar, we'll have another repetition, but this time that bar is slightly harder, and you'll want to be just try to play it a little slower so you can handle it. So let's put it at 80. And for the time signature, we'll put it at 6/4. So this sequencer basically lets us change the tempo and the time. So now let us set this. So here you can hear it. So up here, you can see that the sequencer changes the tempo down to 80 and change the time signature to 6/4. Now regarding page turns. In the sheet music library, we can upload music here. And here you can see I've populated it with a lot of music. So let's go to that piece. So if I tilt my head to the right, you can see that it can turn pages without me having to lift my hands off the keyboard. If I tilt it back to the left, you can see that it goes back to the previous page. The problem is if I keep moving my head, sometimes it will be a little jittery. So what we can do here is we can actually adjust the settings so it makes it a lot harder to turn pages. So if I turn it up to 50, you will see that it's a lot harder. I had to do this in order to turn pages. Now finally, what we can also do is we can combine both the metronome and the page turner together and specify when to turn pages. And so basically, because we can now change time signatures, we can also tell the app when to turn pages. So in this demo, you can see there's a turn. And basically all I have to specify is no or yes. So this one, I'll just say no. So when it goes to 6/4, it will turn the page. So without further ado, let me demonstrate how this works. So I'll press this and I'll set it. And now let's give this a go. okay now, Hongyi. You have no excuse.
Okay, now I'll go over the structure of the software. As we have shown, users can type in tempos and time signatures in the app, and these will go to the Metronome audio engine, which generates the beats and outputs the sound. Users can also type in sequences of tempos, time signatures, and page turning position. These are then used by the sequencer algorithm to update the Metronome audio engine in order to generate sequences of beats with different tempos and time signatures. And for the PDF reader mode, files can be uploaded and stored on the device, and then they can be displayed by the PDF reader. In addition, when a specific head gesture is captured through the camera and recognized by the algorithm, it triggers a page turn of the PDF file. Moreover, the sequencer algorithm can also trigger a page turn while it is working together with the PDF reader. Next, please. And we use some of the well-known libraries to aid our design. The first one is called AudioKit. We use this built-in basic metronome. And the second one is Firebase Machine Learning Kit for face detection. We use it to detect gestures captured by the user's camera in real time.
So for future work, we would like to be able to highlight the bars on the music sheet so the musician has a better visualization of which part of the music they are on. We would also like to add the function of accelerating or slowing down the metronome through a bar so that the tempo change can happen less abruptly. In addition, beat visualization can also help the musician stay on beat by adding a visual aid in addition to the metronome sounds. We would also like to add some customization options for the user in the future. For key learnings, one useful development practice we learned and plan to adopt in the future is the agile development workflow. We treated spirals as sprints and divided features up based on importance. This made delegating work and adapting to changes very easy and efficient. As we were creating the programmable metronome, we learned the important lesson of trying not to reinvent the wheel. Programming the metronome from scratch proved to be very challenging and time-consuming, and using a library that provided the basic metronome features made our task a lot simpler. On that note, we also learned to research more in depth on potential libraries before committing to one. When developing the PDF reader, we chose to use a specific PDF library, but this library had restrictions that proved to be difficult down the road because it made adding features more complicated than necessary. We also learned that user feedback is very helpful in the debugging process. Having our specialist, Aaron, use the app daily helped us find bugs and ways to improve user experience. Lastly, because we're working on a music app, we learned many music terms along the process. Thank you.